Flaky pie dough secrets, the toughness and shrinkage fix. Welcome to the Problem-Solving Cooking Podcast. Today, we face a baking challenge that separates the good bakers from the great, pie dough. We're aiming for a crust that shatters into tender, buttery layers. But what we often get is tough, crumbly, or worst of all, a crust that shrinks away from the pan and slides down the sides. The secrets to a flaky crust are simple but non-negotiable: cold, fat, and a light touch. Get those three things right, and you'll never buy a pre-made crust again. Let's dive into the master steps to conquer pie dough. The master steps and expert advice. Cold is gold. This is the single most important rule. Everything must be cold. Cold butter, ice water, and ideally even your bowl and flour. Cold butter forms pockets that, when melted in the oven, release steam and create those beautiful flaky layers. If the butter is soft, it mixes into the flour instead of layering with it, leading to a tough, cookie-like crust. Whether you use a food processor or your hands, the goal is to cut the cold fat, butter, or a mix of butter and shortening into the flour until it resembles pea-sized pieces. This is where the flakiness is born. If the pieces are too small, your crust will be mealy and tender but not flaky. If they are too large, it might be greasy. Pea-sized is the sweet spot. Slowly add your ice water, a tablespoon at a time. Use a fork to gently toss the mixture. The goal is to add just enough water so that when you squeeze a small handful, it holds together. The mixture should still look crumbly in the bowl. Stop adding water the moment it clumps. This is a common mistake, the tendency to add more water than needed, which activates too much gluten. Problems and the fixes. Controlling the glitches. You've done the squeeze test and it just falls apart. The fix, it simply needs a tiny bit more moisture. Sprinkle in just 1 or 2 more teaspoons of ice water, toss it, and test again. Do this incrementally. Never pour a large amount, or you risk the opposite problem, toughness. If your crust is chewy like bread instead of tender, the fix, you've activated too much gluten. This happens from overworking the dough. Whether mixing or rolling, handle it as little as possible. If you think you've overworked it, wrap it up and let it rest in the fridge for at least 2 hours, or better yet, overnight. This allows the stressed gluten strands to relax. You bake your pie and the crust has shrunk down the sides of the pan. The fix, the dough didn't rest enough and the gluten was too tight. Never stretch the dough into the pie pan. Let it settle in gently. After you've placed the dough in the pan and crimped the edges, chill the entire pie plate in the fridge for another 30 minutes before baking. This cold rest sets the butter and locks the crust in place. The final finish and soggy bottom avoidance. A final problem we can prevent is the dreaded soggy bottom. If your filling is wet, you must blind bake the crust. Line the unbaked dough with parchment paper, fill it completely with pie weights or dried beans, and bake it until the edges are set. Remove the weights, prick the bottom with a fork, and bake it for a few more minutes until it looks dry. This sets the base and creates a moisture shield. Mastering pie dough is about respecting the ingredients. Keep it cold, work quickly, and use a light touch. Do this, and your flaky pie crust will be the star of the dessert table. If this guide gave you the confidence to conquer pie dough, please subscribe for more problem-solving recipes. Join us next time when we solve the lumpy gravy rescue.